Name's Ethan Ward. I'm 37 years old, and until that night, I thought I had life figured out. I wasn't rich, I wasn't famous, but I was content. I lived in a quiet town in Indiana, where people still waved at each other from their porches, and Friday night football was the biggest event of the week. My wife, Anna, and I had built a simple life together. 10 years of marriage, one little girl who was the center of our world, and a house that smelled of coffee in the mornings and cinnamon rolls on the weekends. I had routines I didn't even think twice about. Kissing my daughter goodnight, double-checking the locks before bed, scrolling through my phone until my eyes grew heavy. It was predictable, safe, steady, and I liked it that way. Looking back, there were little cracks in that perfect picture, moments I ignored because I didn't want to believe anything could threaten the peace we'd built. A late return from work that didn't make sense. A strange look exchanged between Anna and someone at the grocery store. But I brushed it off, convincing myself I was just tired, just paranoid. That night, the house was quiet. Too quiet. The kind of silence that presses against your ears. I remember glancing at the clock, 11:59. I closed my eyes, ready to drift into sleep, unaware that in the next 60 seconds, my entire life was about to split in two, before the call and after. I can still hear the sound of that phone ringing, sharp, cold, like a blade slicing through the stillness of midnight. And I swear, even before I picked it up, something deep inside me already knew. Nothing would ever be the same again. The ringing wouldn't stop. I fumbled in the dark, my heart already pounding before I even touched the phone. Midnight calls never bring good news. I think we all know that deep down. Hello? My voice was rough, but what I heard on the other end froze every bone in my body. It wasn't a stranger. It wasn't an emergency operator. It was a man, calm, almost smug. "Ethan Ward?" he asked, like he was reading my name off a piece of paper. "Yes. Who is this?" He chuckled, low and deliberate. "I think you already know." I sat up in bed, glancing at Anna beside me. She was awake now, wide-eyed, her face pale in the glow of the digital clock. Midnight. Exactly. "What do you want?" I demanded. There was silence for a moment, and then his words came, cutting through me like a knife. "Tell your wife I said hello." The line went dead. I stared at the phone, my pulse hammering. My first thought was some sick prank, but when I turned to Anna, I saw something in her eyes that told me otherwise. Fear. Recognition. She wasn't confused. She wasn't asking who it was. She knew, and that's when my world cracked open. "Anna," I whispered, my voice shaking. Who the hell was that? She didn't answer. She couldn't. And that silence told me more than words ever could. I sat there in the dark, staring at her, waiting for an explanation. But none came. Anna's lips trembled. Her hands clutched the blanket, like it could shield her from what was already out in the open. "Anna," I pressed, my voice low but sharp. "Who was that man?" She shook her head, whispering, "It's not what you think." Not what I think. A stranger calls at midnight, knows my name, knows I'm married, and tells me to say hello to my wife. How else could I take it? My chest tightened, anger pushing past the shock. Then explain it to me. Because right now, I'm thinking there's something you've been hiding. Something I should have known a long time ago. Tears spilled down her face, but still, no words, just silence. And in that silence, I started replaying everything. The late nights at work she couldn't explain. The sudden need to keep her phone face down. The cold excuses when I reached for her and she pulled away. All the puzzle pieces I ignored because I trusted her. I wanted to scream, but my voice came out flat, hollow. How long, Anna? How long has this been going on? Her head dropped into her hands, her shoulders shaking. That was all I needed. An answer without words. And just like that, the life I thought I had with her, 4 years of marriage, 10 years of love, shattered in front of me. But what haunted me more than her betrayal was the voice on the other end of that call. A man who knew my name. A man who wasn't afraid. A man who sounded like he owned the truth. I realized this wasn't just about Anna cheating. No, this was something darker. And whoever he wasn't done with me. The next morning, I didn't wake up to the sound of my alarm. I woke up to the sound of her phone buzzing on the nightstand. She was in the shower. For a moment, I just stared at the glowing screen, torn between the man I thought I was, the husband who trusted his wife, and the man that Midnight Call had forced me to become. The name flashing across the screen made my stomach twist. Unknown number. I grabbed the phone, my hands trembling, and answered. Silence. Then his voice. Calm, cold, almost mocking. Michael, you shouldn't be angry at her. She only did what she was told. My blood ran cold. Who the hell are you? What do you want? He chuckled, low and steady. What I want, you'll find out soon enough. But know this, your wife isn't your enemy. She's just collateral. The line went dead. I stood there, phone pressed against my ear, my heart pounding like it was trying to break free from my chest. What did he mean? Collateral. Collateral for what? Anna came out of the shower, a towel wrapped around her, her eyes widening when she saw me holding her phone. You answered it, she whispered, her face pale. Who is he, Anna? I demanded. My voice shook, not from fear, but from rage. What game are you playing with me? She dropped the towel onto the chair, clutching her arms like she was freezing. Tears brimmed in her eyes again. I wanted to tell you, she said, her voice breaking, but it's bigger than me, bigger than us. You don't understand, Michael. If I talk, we're both dead. That word echoed in my head like a gunshot, and in that instant I realized. This wasn't just betrayal. This was a trap, a dangerous, calculated trap, and I was already caught in the middle. I stared at Anna, my whole body trembling, but not from fear anymore, from the weight of the truth pressing in. Tell me, I said, my voice low, almost a whisper. No more secrets. Who was that man? She sank onto the bed, clutching the blanket, like it could shield her from reality. Her lips trembled before the words finally came. Michael. He's not just some stranger. He's my brother. I froze. For a moment, my mind refused to process it. Your brother? You told me he died years ago. Her eyes filled with shame. That's what I wanted to believe. But he didn't die. He disappeared into something dark. A group. People who control things. He found me months ago, made me swear silence. If I didn't, he said he'd ruin you and kill me. Her words landed like bullets. The midnight call, the threats, the fear in her eyes. Suddenly, the puzzle pieces fit. Painfully, perfectly. Why didn't you tell me? I asked, my voice breaking. Because I thought I could protect you, she sobbed. But he knows everything about us. Where you work, where we live, even the stupid taco place you love. There's no hiding from him. That call last night, it wasn't random. It was a warning. He's coming for you. My chest tightened. I felt both rage and devastation clawing at me. This wasn't just betrayal. This was blood ties versus love. And yet, even through the storm of emotions, one thing became painfully clear. The woman I loved had been trapped in someone else's game, a pawn in her brother's twisted power play. I took her hands in mine, firm and steady. Then we don't run. We don't hide. We fight this together. If he wants to come for me, he's going to find out exactly what kind of man I am. She stared at me, tears still streaming, but a flicker of hope sparked in her eyes. And as the clock ticked toward midnight once more, I realized this wasn't the end of my story. It was only the beginning.